International Development at the International Institute for Social Studies, or ISS, at the Erasmus University Rotterdam in the Netherlands. I held two previous tenure track positions as well. I was lecturer in international development at the Department of Geography in Sheffield University in the UK between 2013 and 2016. And recently, I was assistant professor at the Institute of Political Science in Leiden University in the Netherlands. That's between 2018 till 2020. In between these two positions, these permanent posts, I also held two major competitive awards. I was an awardee of the Alexander von Humboldt Research Fellowship, where I worked at Freie Universität Berlin in Germany. And in addition, I was also awarded the Japan Society for the Promotion of Science, JSPS, Research Award, where I worked at the University of Tokyo in Japan. I finished my PhD in politics at the University of Sheffield in the Department of Politics, and I finished my master's in Asian Studies back at Lund University in Sweden in 2008. Originally, as I said, I'm Filipino. I finished my BA, I graduated at the bachelor's program in political science at the University of the Philippines in Diliman. So the ERC starting grant that I won is for the project entitled Green Industrial Policy in the Age of Rare Metals, or in short, GRIP-ARM. Put simply, it is a 5-year research program which will examine how critical raw materials are shaping our modern world. By critical raw materials, I specifically pertain to what we call rare earth elements, or REEs. Rare earth elements are 17 different elements with special properties of ferromagnetism, superconductivity, and luminescence. And because of these special geological features, they are important. They play a vital role as inputs for industrial products, ranging from mobile phones, computer screens, missile and defense system, all the way to the production of electric vehicles, wind turbines, and solar panels, to name a few. My project is the first systematic comparison of the political economy of rare earth mining and economic development. It examines 3 cases, 3 different governance models of how to manage rare earth metals, namely China, Kazakhstan, and Brazil. And mainly the focus is to examine the design of their industrial policy, their economic policies, to promote the use of natural resources in achieving national security and economic objectives. It is also the first study to map out the value chains of the rare metals from the exploration and production all the way to the use of these resources in high-tech manufacturing. For that reason, I also intend to look into the role of resource-consuming firms and governments, specifically the EU and Japan, in shaping the future of rare earth metals. In particular, I'm interested in understanding how resource importing countries from the advanced industrialized world are responding to the current policy of the Chinese to restrict exports and to restrict the supply of rare metals in the near future. So for me, there are 3 steps that I personally devised to prepare myself for the ERC application. The first step is to plan ahead and provide ample time to plan for the application. I allocated about 3 months of uninterrupted preparation for the application, which includes thinking and reflecting through the research question in the literature, examining my research, the strengths and weaknesses of my project, looking into my CV. So it's a lot of preparation in terms of what makes an ERC application competitive. The second step is the actual drafting of the proposal. During this process, I began to discuss my project, elements of my project, with my friends and colleagues. I focused on how to constructively build a coherent project. So, not just having three case studies, but rather three interrelated ideas that creates a bigger picture, that creates a bigger idea. At this stage, to me, it was essential that each work package speaks to each other, but also that they collectively provide new answers into the research question. So, in other words, the ERC is more than just a sum of the individual parts. A lot of the thinking goes into how the work packages work with each other, how they potentially speak to each other, and how they can reorient thinking and establish wisdoms in the field. Finally, I spent a substantial amount of time thinking about the different aspects of the research that are not necessarily research related. For example, searching through existing and future programs for potential PhD students, that you'll hire. I also examined knowledge dissemination practices and the ways in which practitioners can utilize the knowledge that comes from a research and apply them directly into their own work. Finally, I spent a fair bit of time looking into potential host institutions both in the field sites but also within the US and Europe and Japan to think about how my project can excel and how I can benefit from different institutional and academic environment. So thinking about how the host institution plays a role in reducing the risk in data collection, but also in improving the analysis of the data and therefore making the research more innovative and more focused on how to bring out the originality and the novelty of the project. So, excellence is a complex word. For me, being good at what we do, being a good social scientist, is what excellence means. There are many ways, several ways to demonstrate this. One can publish in leading journals as an individual, as a single author, hitting the top 5-10% of the journals in the field. Others can follow a different model where they publish monographs and special issues in multi-authored book projects. Again, here the emphasis is showing research leadership in a different context, working as a research leader with other colleagues as opposed to just working on his or her own work. In other instances, you can demonstrate excellence in terms of grant capture. Some of us have been able to get grants, minor or major grants, as co investigators. I believe that excellence is essentially, doing justice to science and to innovation and to the kind of research that we do. We have to be serious social scientists to become excellent social scientists. And to that extent, I believe that this goes back to the issue of planning and thinking about how the ERC might help you become an excellent academic. So part of what makes an ERC exciting as a project is that it's about showing a track record of what you've done and how great you've been as an academic, as a scholar, but also you're promising them a high risk, high gain project, a new idea in which if you are able to deliver and are successful with the grant, you will be part of the top 5-10% in the field that you choose from. So to me, this is the most important definition of excellence. It's simply doing what we're good at, which is being excellent researchers, being excellent social scientists. In terms of the advice of how to prepare for an ERC application, I think the first advice is to recognize that not everyone needs an ERC grant. Some people moved up in the ladder and became associate and full professors without an ERC, although of course an ERC undoubtedly puts a stamp of legitimacy of how excellent your scholarship is. But again, I go back to the idea that there are different kinds of showing and demonstrating excellence. The ERC is one model to do it. So it's about showing research management skills at the same time showing excellent science. So the if you are the type of person, a researcher who envisions leading a team, working with other people, managing a huge budget where you have the ability to use this money, this grant to promote different activities, then I think the ERC is for you. So it's I think it's really important that we think about what the ERC what the value of the ERC and the model of excellence that it offers to you personally. Second, I think it's particularly crucial to build a good and vibrant network within Europe. The ERC has to be done and conducted in within with a host institution in Europe, so you need that network. But also, the network will provide you a suitable host institution. You need an excellent research infrastructure to manage a large grant. The host institution plays an important role from the moment of inception of the project all the way to the finish line. When you've submitted the grant, the report, and now you're ready to move on to the next project. So, finding the most compatible institution is, in fact, I think, one of the most important ingredients of succeeding in the ERC application. I think it's really hard to discuss, how to go through the process. But one thing I will say is that the ERC values interdisciplinarity or interdisciplinary work. Innovative science is based on working with fantastic colleagues who ask similar questions but approach them differently. Methodologically, epistemologically, different empirical reference, different approaches. I think this is really important. If you can demonstrate how your project can speak and converse with other disciplines, it shows that your project is significant, it's relevant, it's important for the ERC to fund it. The ERC grant that I received currently enables me to work with physical geographers and materials engineering. So I've never thought that my work can speak to people who work in the environmental sciences and the physical sciences. The ERC offers this unique opportunity to do this. So thinking about how your application can speak to the interdisciplinary nature, the growing interdisciplinary nature of research, I think will help in improving the chance, in enhancing the chance of success for the grant. I built around my career, I built my career around mobility. I studied in Sweden and in the UK, as I mentioned a while ago. I worked in the UK, in Germany, in Japan, and now in the Netherlands. Mobility not only makes the CV look better, it looks far more attractive, but it changes the individual perspective to become more open minded and inclusive. The ERC application reflects my own personal journey of building networks, learning from colleagues, pursuing interdisciplinary research. Mobility played an essential role in shaping myself as a researcher, as a social scientist, as a migrant, here in Europe, but also as a Filipino who are working in a European university environment. Mobility opens doors to a lot of things, but it also improves our social and cultural perspectives.